Okay, so now I want to dive deep into the economics of SaaS. So what makes SaaS such a lucrative business model with such explosive growth? Okay, so let's take a look. This is how we used to do things. We used to spend a specific amount of money on acquiring the customer, acquiring the sale, right? You can call that CAC, customer acquisition cost. We'll be looking at that a little bit later, right? So whatever the CAC that we used to pay, once we paid that and we got the customer would pay for the licensed software, and then we get the money back. We get it a few times fold, and we're all happy. We don't mind spending money on acquiring the customer when he brings in more money and actually covers the initial marketing cost as well as bringing us profit. But SaaS is a little bit different. So let's see how a SaaS graph looks like. When you look at software as a service, we spend the same amount of money acquiring the customer, but then we don't get everything at the same month. What we do is we get a little bit of the money that we invested into acquiring the customer every single month, right? Can anyone in the chat maybe tell me if that kind of business model seems familiar to them, if they can identify it from another sector in the industry maybe? So what that looks like is just like a real estate company, right? So if you were to buy houses for the purpose of renting them, then you would be looking at the same graph. You buy a house for a large amount of money, and then you rent it out for a smaller amount of money during an indefinite period of time. So it's the same thing with SaaS, but instead of acquiring houses, what we do is we acquire users. And users are not like a house. We don't guarantee the retention throughout all of the ages. We do it by providing the best value per money in software solution to whatever problem it is that made them join us in the first place. So what I want to go over with you right now is a growth forecast that we have here in Green Invest for one of our SaaS brands, which is called PlanSuite. That is a social media marketing solution that automates a lot of the content strategy that brands have and really can save thousands of hours depending on the brand. So what you can see right now is a very typical kind of SaaS revenue projection. So the red area that you can see is called a SaaS cash flow trough, right? That trough, you can see at month 3, it reaches the lowest portion where it reaches a negative 72% return. So if you're putting out $100 in ad spend, then you're only getting 28% back, right? So you're losing 72% of the money that you're putting into the platform. But as time goes on, you can see the graph starts growing up. What happens there is that at some point you reach a critical mass. If you keep thinking about the real estate example we used before, so if you keep investing and you keep buying houses, or in our cases users, at some point you'll reach a critical mass of users where their rent or their monthly recurring subscription basically pays back your current growth plan. So if you're spending $10,000 a month to grow and acquire new customers, at some point you'll get enough customers that their monthly subscription will pay those $10,000 back, and then you're at break even. But what happens after you break even? Well, you just keep doing the same thing and you keep having the same exponential growth because you're acquiring more and more users, and each of those users become a monthly passive income source, right? Because they keep paying you for that subscription month over month. So at the end, you can see in this projection, which is for PlanSuite, by month 12, we can see a 315% return on ad spend. That's a huge return margin. And you can see the exponential growth, right? If the graph was straight, then that's not something that you want to see, because it's not very SaaS-like. You're not sure what it is that you're acquiring that's going to give you the return later on. But when you see that it's a little bit curved, that you know that you're in the right place. You're doing something that is accelerating your growth. It's not just generating growth, but it's accelerating it. So just one more thing that I want to discuss on this specific graph, like the SaaS trough, is that at some point, any entrepreneur that's running a startups and has investors know that, specifically in the SaaS market, at some point during that red period, your investors are gonna get stressed, and they're not gonna understand why you're burning through all of that money and why you're losing money, because you're not supposed to lose money, right? You have a good solution, and you know that that solution is needed in the market. So why are you losing money? The important part is to show them that you're in control. You know how bad it's gonna be and for how long. And while you're building a cash generating machine, then you can spend money. It's understandable that it's gonna cost money to build this kind of machine. And when you do, and when you go through that red period, then you're gonna enjoy some amazing fruits that you won't see in any other type of industry. Because real estate is never going to see that kind of growth, because it can't sustain it. It's never gonna reach critical mass because you won't get enough funding. Now, if we want to look at an example, mobile carriers, they pay a lot of money to acquire a customer. Their CAC is really, really high. But they're willing to pay that amount of money because, one, well, they have a lot of funding. And two, they're in it for the long game. So they can push their time to return customer acquisition cost by 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They're fine with not returning the cost of acquiring a customer for 5 years, as long as they'll be getting that exponential growth 5 years and forward from there. Hey guys, so I just wanted to say thanks for watching the whole thing. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the video description for hidden gems and startup growth hacks. Also, we have some really cool content coming up soon, so hit that notification bell to make sure you're notified when it comes out. If you want to learn more about SaaS growth, or if you just want to chat, check out our website at greeninvest.app, or you can email me directly at Roy, that's ROI, @greeninvest.app. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.